And we are live. Mic check, mic check. Looks pretty good. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well. It is a gray and cloudy and kind of drizzly day here. Hope everybody's been able to keep up within Splinterlands this last week. Last couple of days, I've been kind of down and out, not doing much in Splinterlands due to a medical situation I had to take care of, but I'm back up and running and trying to catch up with, everything I got going on in Splinterland. So I jumped on here earlier and I was doing some prep and I saw that Gathering the Magic had just posted a video about the SPLTrader, which we'll talk about in a little bit. He went all in, so check out that video if you haven't. It pretty much explains SPLTrader, and interestingly enough, the creator and runner of the SPLTrader had replied on his video, so might be interesting to talk to that person that created and run that. But I've been making I actually went ahead and put 25,000 more in this morning, so I'm almost at 200,000, but I've made a decent amount. Let's see here. Anything over 175,000 is my profit, really. So it's been making a pretty good return. So I've been continually, increasing what I have in the SPL trader. Not investment advice, as always. So so I was over here earlier. I was thinking, I haven't grabbed a Keelan Gaines yet, and I want to just really think about if I want to get one and what level, because obviously it's a pretty cool card, and it is Dragon Death, so ultimately cool there. Let's see who's here. Crypto Beaver's in the house. Welcome. I'm a little bit lower energy because I'm still coming out of had that thing. A procedure, let's just call it a procedure, done yesterday, and I'm just kind of recovering, so please bear with me. Jabby Saints is here. Welcome. I'm a little bit lower energy, although I do have my energy drink going here, and I just drank a double espresso, so I'm waiting for the caffeine to kick in. Supreme Victory Studios is here. Welcome. I've also guilty of playing a lot of RavenQuest this week. I've been into that, and I've been trying to intersperse some videos with that, as well as videos of Splinterlands and also Atlas Earth. So Crypto Beaver says, still working on my DEC bag. Need DEC for Conclave Arcana. Have we heard of a pre-sale date? I have not. The last I heard was it's supposed to start sometime in April, and of course, as soon as April 1st dropped, we had people on the Discord saying, "Okay, where is it? Where's the presale?" It doesn't mean that it's going to. Obviously, I think that it would probably go on a Tuesday because that's the standard patch day, but I have not heard. And I would say that they would probably do, and I'm just checking over here in Discord now just to see if I missed anything in the announcement section. There's something that they posted in the announcement section yesterday that I want to go over as well during this show, but I don't see anything. So I kind of doubt that it's this coming week, which is the 8th. So that leaves us the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. Sometimes they drop stuff on Thursdays, so I don't know. But to answer your question, I haven't heard. And to further answer your question, that's kind of why I had put DEC into SPLTrader a few months ago to make a little bit more DEC for my Conclave Arcana packs. Not that I'm going to be a huge buyer, because at this point I think I'm mostly into land, which means I'm trying to buy a few more gold foils to put on my land. As we've been talking lately, they've been creeping up. If you've watched the last few episodes of Gatherings Market Watch for the cards, the land is still moderate. It's just kind of teetering around there. It is going up somewhat, and we're seeing some of the deals scooped up, but the cards have definitely went up. So I'm just kind of looking for deals. So I was just trying to check on Keelan Gaines here. I wanted to go over to the market just out of curiosity, and it's going to be, what would it be? It would be promo probably promo. Here he is. Okay, so it looks like it's almost $2 per BCX. I don't know what it works out to currently as far as just buying the vouchers and doing it, but I have seen that the vouchers have been going up. I've got a small amount of vouchers. The vouchers actually have been going down over the last day, but you can see they are up during a good, enjoying a good up cycle since Keelan has dropped, because a lot of people interested in them. While we're on this page, DEC and SPS are taking a little bit of a hit over the last day, but are up over the the last month or so. Of course, both of them are down a little bit further than what we want to see them. However, DEC has been riding above 0.80 for a while, so looking pretty good. Good morning, says Gathering the Magic. Says, moved all my DEC from land to SPLTrader. Yeah, I didn't want to give away your, I didn't want to be a spoiler, but that's what he did on his video. He turned off his land and put all his DEC in SPLTrader, SPLTrader rather. And this is what we were looking at here. I have almost 200,000 in it, and I've been keeping track, if you're interested. Trying to find, you know me in spreadsheets, but I've been keeping track. Let me get my head. Sorry. Let me get my head out of the way. But I started at the end of January, and I started out with just a small amount. And then I just wanted to test it out and see how it'd do. And then I gradually increased it over time. And I build it up. So I have 107, let's see here, 150, let's see here, 25, 50, 100, 150. So I have 175 in there currently. And, we're sitting at 198. So anything over 175 has been my profit. So, Too Curious is here. Welcome. A new name. Good to see that. Says that ROI won't last long. Yeah, I know. There's two sides of this blade. I put my money into it and didn't do a video immediately because, one, I didn't want to kind of promote something if it ended up being a scam or a rug pull, right? I wanted to put some money in and just see what happened to it and then be able to report back on it. And then the second is, as soon as I put out a video, a bunch of people are going to jump in it, so my ROI would go down. So yeah, I expected the ROI to go down. Obviously, the larger the amount of people that put DEC into the pool, the share of your pool gets smaller. It just works on percentages. So they take a 40% cut off the top for their share, and then the rest is split depending upon what your percentage is in the pool. But frankly, I have a small amount in the DEC SPS pool, and it gets me very little. It gets me like half a SPS per day. This is like 2 days worth. Like I said, I haven't really done anything in Splinterlands the last couple of days due to my preparation and the operation, but it hasn't gotten me a lot. And I'm always very wary about that whole losses that you may incur when putting money into a pool. We also have to look at haven't claimed anything on land. That topic or that discussion topic also goes into whenever you're talking about putting into the land pools, right? So I do come in here and I stake whatever. So like the last day and a half, I've earned 40 SPS in Splinterlands. So this is kind of sidebar. This is just like tasks I'm catching up on. So I just continually roll everything into staking. I do keep a little bit out in case I want to give some away. Okay, so let's look back into chat. Gathering says, sure, but still any extra DEC helps me out. Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of extra DEC for whenever the conclave came out. But I was really surprised that Gathering turned off all his land and put all, frankly, if I turned off all my land, that would be a lot of DEC to dump in there. I don't even know how much. But I know I've got at least 16 lands completely staked out times 50, so. Mystic Force is here. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Gathering says plus the card selling feature is pretty cool. Yeah, if you want to get into buying and selling cards, which is kind of along the same lines of what I'm doing in RavenQuest on the regular market, buying and selling crops. If you like to do that, I don't sit there and do it all day. I know some people will sit there and do it all day. Buy when you see a margin and then resell, make a few silver here and there. But for those that like to do that, yeah, it's definitely an option. Paul Taylor's in the house. Welcome. Gathering says Town Hall got moved up to the 10th, which, looking at my calendar, is next Thursday. Did they say what the timing on it was? Let me look at the calendar here. I know they usually post it under events. April 10th. Okay, 11 a.m. So that's another town hall that I won't really be able to make due to the timing. If they're in the afternoon, sometimes I can listen to them kind of at work, but when you're working and at your desk and you're just kind of listening, you only hear half of what they're talking about, so I'll have to re-listen. But a good note, Town Hall, I'm on an Eastern time zone, so you'll have to just check. If you go into Discord, for those of you who don't know, I want to cover this peak delisting here in a minute. But if you go into the Splinterlands Discord, right up here at the top under events, you can click on it, and it will tell you, like here, the next Town Hall is at the April 10th at 11 a.m. But I'm on the Eastern time zone, and it just really depends upon, what time zone you're on. So I'll probably listen to it, have it running, but I'll have to re-listen to it because when I'm working, it depends upon what I'm doing, right? I only hear about half of what they're saying, right? Our Faded Glory days. Nope, Our Faded Glory plays. Thank you for stopping by. I like to see new names. How you doing? Thanks for dropping by. Wibbles here with the big we, as always. Gathering the Magic says, will move some of my DEC profits from SPLTrader to buy the land resources to buy a stockpile. Nice. It's always good, to... What I've found is the one constant in this game is you have to always be willing to change. And that's with life as well. You always want to change your strategy as they change things in the game. You have to come up with different ways to, to try and make some DEC or SPS, right? So, and also those of us who are playing land, trying to find a way to get all your land up and running if you do want it. In this case, Gathering has made the decision to take the land offline for a while and use the DEC to make some more DEC in Splintertrader. So I'm sure he'll do a, after he changes things around, I'm sure he'll do a video and tell, what happened and the results for good or for bad, hopefully for good. Lady Sharon's in the house. Welcome, Lady Sharon, from my usual Atlas Earth podcast on Sunday, which I will not be doing. If you all stop by on Sunday for my Atlas Earth cast, I will not be doing tomorrow because I'm be going to the Cherry Blossom Festival with my wife and daughter, and I hope the weather is better than it is today because I go to take photos of the cherry blossoms, and it is just a very gray and flat day. And if you are a photographer, you know that gray equals flat photos and just bad lighting all around. So hope it improves. But Lady Sharon says, hi, popping in to support. Need to watch the Atlas Earth video. Hope you feel better. Also hope you're not in the path of all the Midwest storms recently. I'm not sure where you are in the country, county. Well, I'm out in the most east you could get in Pennsylvania before going into New Jersey. That's where I'm at. So I actually work in New Jersey. So It has been a rainy week, to say the least. I guess the term torrential downpours comes to mind. So hopefully we don't get too many more, but like they say, April showers, spring Mayflowers. So, and all my flowers are starting to pop up. So, Supreme Victory Studio says, working on the house in RavenQuest. Did you know that you get a free chest? You may have to place it, though. I have not placed my house yet or my free land deed. So I'll have to check that out. I do know you have to open your 2 daily chests to make sure you keep up with, keeping everything going. Our Faded Glory Plays says, thank you for the help with land. I've started buying gold foil epics. It's been very helpful. Oh, well, welcome to the land game. In fact, I have to go in there and check it out. It's been a few days. Let's see where my land stands. See, it's been more than a week. My week has been quite busy, as it were. So let's go ahead and just do a claim just to have something to do here. See what my situation is. Yeah, I'm at 100% capacity. I try not to let this happen, obviously. And I'm going to jump over to, yep, you're right. I have a spreadsheet going. Sorry, just adding my rows. Okay, so here we go. We can see in one I have 4 land plots and 3 grain and 1 wood. Let's just do a harvest all. So just going to do this harvest and we'll get back to chat. Almost 70,000 grain. I might not do all this. It's kind of boring on on live stream. And I got a little bit of wood to harvest. I think in the most cases I am set up pretty well, and I have enough grain going to keep all my land producing, even though most of what I've got is grain currently, which is self-designed. And just a few extra like wood. Okay, let's jump back into chat. Let's see what everybody's saying here. Gathering says that market for gold epics is getting thinner and thinner. Yeah, I agree. It's getting harder and harder to find it. So the strategy is, my strategy is mutating, because I quickly saw that I was not going to be able to get a ton of those gold foil epics. However, consider this. Look at all the gold foil Chaos Legions available and try to make a pick on what's your better bang for your buck, as far as I think, and it's worth looking at the other cards as well, especially the cards that have a bonus, the older cards, because you may be able to find some older cards that give you a more bonus, because I think early on we were using the gold foils. I started with commons and then moved on to epics, because they were a great bang for your buck. But with the multiplier involved, especially on the older cards, they're definitely worth considering if you can find a good deal on them. So our Faded Glory Play says, I also hold a grain plot in 114. Isn't that where Bronze Dragon is? Yes. Actually, we're on 114 right now. You can see exactly what I have in 114. I have 5 plots. This is where my only epic is. Everything else is commons and rares. I do have 1 magic rare in this region as well. The rest are common. And my epic is harvesting iron at this point. Gathering says all gold foil cards doubled in the last couple weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's since Land 1.75 came out, and even the lead up to 1.75, people who were getting prepared. I bought a number of them, and to me, it's just kind of like rationing. It's kind of buying gradually and not overextending myself, because I know what I can put into the game on a weekly basis, and I try not to overextend myself. That applies to everything in life, right? You know, so yeah. So everything's going up because, because, you know, the gold foils for the longest time have represented a good bang for your buck as far as putting on land. Now you really have to look at the other cards as well. So really what you're looking at is the production points. And you want to reference the land white paper, because the older card releases will give you, like beta, will give you various multipliers that may make them a better deal depending upon the price of the card, you know, like a standard foil versus a Chaos Legion gold foil. It's all in flux. You know, you can talk in generalizations, but the card market is all in flux at any one time, right? And like we were talking about the SPLTrader bot, we've got multiple kinds of bots, personal bots and everything, running on the market for more than a year now that are buy, selling, and trading cards. So it makes it hard for just the general person to go ahead and grab a deal. So, you know, it's not advertised. I'm not paid for this, but I'm thinking about finding a few cards I want to find a deal on and putting them into the SPLTrader bot and seeing if I can get a deal on them specifically to use for my land. Because I've talked about this before. There's a lot of people that are the big players in the game and everything, and they go on X when they're buying these big fancy cards, and that's fine. But I've learned that I'm not going to be a top player in the game because I just don't have the money to put into it. But I've found that I can play in the land game and just do a gradual staking out of my land plots, and over time build them up, and then as things get fully staked out, buy another land plot and keep that going, and just wait and see how the actual market does, right? So Lady Sharon says, oh, okay, I thought some reason thought you were in Ohio. Probably mixing you up with someone else. Well, I was born in Indiana. I think we had a little bit of a discussion with somebody on the Atlas Earth cast the other day who lives in Ohio. I think Annalise lives in Ohio, Annalise CW, when we were talking to her. But it's common for me to drive through Ohio once in a while whenever I travel back home and see family and friends. But as you get older, the family and friends get fewer and fewer, so enjoy them while you got them. Gathering the Magic says, have you played your free account recently? Did you end up buying a spellbook? No and no. Well, let me say, I have been playing the... I need to revisit it, okay, and do another episode. I played the free account for like a month, and then I've kind of dropped it, except for playing in guild brawls. And I've been performing very poorly in guild brawls. The linchpin in playing a free-to-play account really is that you have to buy or rent summoners. Really, you can continue to go ahead and amass the free cards, the reward cards and stuff like that slowly over time, but you need summoners, and I had loaned some summoners from my main account to that account. I do need to revisit it and go through the spellbook purchase, but I was waiting until they make this big change at Conclave Arcana, because they're getting ready to make this big change to how the spellbook works, or not how it works, but what's available when you actually buy a spellbook, right? Because you will you will no longer get Chaos Legion packs, and you'll start getting Conclave Arcana packs or something else. They'll make change, but I was waiting for that change before I revisit it and do another episode. Let's go ahead and do my grain claim here. Okay, this is in Tostrington. I'm getting a little bit over, almost 89,000 grain. But keep in mind, when I claim the rest of it, it takes some of this out. Okay. So like whenever I claim wood, it's going to take some of the grain to pay for the workers for wood. So 16,800. So I'm paying a significant portion of that 89,000 grain that I claimed to claim this wood, which is 9,100.6. And then another 16,800 to claim this iron. And I haven't even really dove and take a second look into the pools. I had somebody mention on one of the videos that I did that you really have to worry about getting into pools whenever the price is high, because the amount you put into the pool as things get lower and moderate will you'll end up losing your value. So, and finally, we're over here in 133 in Ravenwood, where the majority of my, I have to okay, so I still haven't done anything with this final one I talked about the other day. I'm having some thoughts about going ahead and moving my staking off of one of my commons and moving it to my rare, because rares you're going to get that extra bonus percentage. And it'll be interesting moving into the next generation of land, because we had originally talked about due to some mechanic, and I'm forgetting it, somebody can remind me, due to some mechanic, it seems like in the land production scheme of things, the commons were really meant to produce, whereas the rares were meant to have buildings on it that take what's produced or take what's harvested and transmute them into something else, like cards, or, you know, the advanced food, the specialized food, and things like that. I need to revisit that, but it seems to me that once we hit that, and once they start talking about that change, you know, we'll have to revisit it and change things around again. And also, you know, another big thing that they haven't broached and they need to talk about, well, I guess as far as I'm concerned, they could not talk about it, but the whole storage idea, where we talked about a land could only store so much, and then you would need a separate land with silos built on it to store that. They haven't mentioned that much at all lately. So let's catch back up with chat. Hey, KGM Jams in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Mystic Fork says, was hoping we stuck in 2008. Our Faded Glory Plays says, I'm really out. KGM says, I also pulled all my DEC off land to throw into SPS when I thought it was going to take off. Now I'm building my land back up slowly but surely. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, originally, I'm at 20 plots now. My first 15, I guess, 14. My first 14, I completely staked out right off the bat, like max common gold foil Chaos Legions, and each one of those, 50,000 DEC for each one of those. And after that, I started buying plots that I was kind of finding deals on here and there. And those are the ones that are not fully staked out, and I'm just kind of going along and staking them out. I think with this one that I haven't constructed anything on, I want to do a video on the different levels, what it takes to go ahead and stake out a land, because there's multiple different steps here. And obviously we're talking about spending money. Each step equals money, whether it's buying time crystals to finish off the land, or whether it's buying cards to stake on the land. You know, each step involves staking money, and it's not it's not really, there's a level of difficulty in understanding this process, right? So it has gotten a little bit easier over time as they've worked on the whole land game. And I'm of the full opinion that they should keep the DAO. The DAO is paying Cryptomancer to work on land, and somebody I saw mention in X that they should perhaps get somebody to help Cryptomancer to fully flesh out the land, because there's a lot more to go, you know. They've built a nice solid foundation here, and with 1.75 he's brought it forward further and added a lot of functionality to the game, and a lot of functionality to the user interface as well, right? So we can see a lot of stuff that we didn't used to see, especially when you talk about going in and seeing, you know, like what's in your pools and what you're earning as far as that goes. So let's dive back into chat. Hope everyone is doing well. Please leave a like on the video if you're liking this kind of discussion and like to see Splinterlands coverage on a weekly basis from me. And please share the videos around on your social media so other people interested in Splinterlands can check it out. Always looking for a little bit wider reach. Let's go ahead and take a look at this before I forget. So this was put onto, it was an announcement on Discord, and it is from, I thought he had a funny name. Okay, cold beetroot soup. He or she has been doing some good coverage lately, and I wanted to go ahead and mention this because they had put a message out. He had put a Peak D article out, and then Blaze noted it in the official announcement section of the Splinterlands Discord. So if you haven't seen this, go ahead and pay attention and go in and follow the instructions. And what it is it's going into the DApp list, and you get rewarded to a certain extent, but it's really about extending Splinterlands, getting more eyes on Splinterlands, right? So I went in and did this, and really it takes all of 5 minutes, really. But read this. It basically just has you link a wallet to the DApp list, and then vote for Splinterlands, really. That's what it's all about. And like I said, it only takes, let's see here, I still have the website open. It only takes about 5 minutes. And you can read through the article, and it only, it's, like I said, it's along the lines of everything else we're doing, just to try to get more eyes, more people looking at Splinterlands. And this is the wrong website. Okay, we're back on Splinterlands. Okay, Gathering says, I was using gold foil epics to clear land since they don't get a negative to any terrain type. If you have a lot of plots to clear, neutrals may be useful. Yeah, I've stuck, if you're new to land, okay, so you can look on, let's first of all harvest this and get done with this. And then I want to take a look at the cards on land. So there's cards you should use. There's cards you shouldn't use on each land type. And then there's neutrals, which are good across the board, but you give up a bonus. So I want to go ahead and do this while we are here. 106,000. I didn't want to do all these claims right in a row because it would be me like for 10 minutes just typing. Okay, go back, and so I claimed 106,000 food, but then we're going to take 17, almost 18,000 out and 33,000 out here for wood and iron or ore, whatever they're calling it, iron. So I got 11,500 wood out of that. And I haven't put any more into the pools lately. I might turn around and sell some of this stuff and just make a little bit of DEC off of it. Not sure. So claiming the iron is the smallest claim, but should have the most or highest price. I don't know. Haven't looked at that lately. Okay. Now we're done with that. So what my point was, let's go back. Okay, so if we just go into this, okay, so this is a mountain, right? And if we go to manage, we can look at the cards that I have on this mountain. Okay, or yeah, so we can see that I've used all fire cards because fire is one of the splinters that gets a bonus on a mountain, and you can tell this. Let's go back. No. I do that all the time. The buttons are too close. So if you're on the main land, check this out. Now, if you scroll down here, which a lot of people bypass, we're talking about a mountain here. And you can see this is listed in the white paper if you're an old schooler. If you're new to land, I would still say track down that land white paper and read through it because it gives a lot of facts and figures. Obviously, you have to know that everything is in flux as far as Cryptomancer's working on it, and things could change, right? So, but one of the things I want to point out, which is not readily obvious to newer folks, is that if you buy land, so say for instance a mountain, you want to look at what splinters give you a synergy, okay? And in this case, on the mountain, fire and death give synergy, which means those cards put onto the land will give us an extra 10%. Now, there's a flip side to that, a knife blade, so to speak. You can also get an elemental penalty, which is what Gathering and I were talking about here. So if you use earth or water on a mountain, you will get a minus 50%. So it is obvious that you don't want a minus 50% because that's bad, right? But if you use neutrals, then there's no pluses or minuses, but you can use neutrals on any land, right? So that's the advantage right there. So neutrals generally, with play value, have a high play value because you can use them in a lot of cases as well. So their prices are usually kind of above the other splinters, comparing one for one, right? But you could also use them on land. So I just wanted to point that out. So you want to look at your production boosts when you're picking out the cards, because I saw somebody posting on X the other day, and he was talking about the cards he was buying for the new land he bought, and the thought occurred in my head, it's like, I don't think that's the right type of elemental synergy. And I was, doing other things, so I didn't have time to look at the exact elemental synergies for that land. But you want to make sure you've got the right cards posted. Okay. Just wanted to get that out there, kind of a extension of what Gathering and I were talking about. Let's go on with chat and see what everybody's talking about. Too Curious says, what is a good price for the Gold Foil Epics Chaos Legions? You know what? It's tough to say. I was looking, I've been paying about $5 for them. But wrong page. Here we go. So you can see I was right in here. And since I work, is this going to reload? Okay. Okay, so let's go into Gold Foil. Let's go into Chaos Legion. And I sort by water and earth because that's primarily what lakes and rivers, what my elemental synergies are. And then sort by epic. And you can see, and let's price by BCX. So you can see that Grund is going for about $5 per BCX. Acid Shooter 4.5, 100 Jacks, Jarks 4.4, Wave Brood. I've used all these cards. All these cards are on my list to use. But that's just me working with primarily lakes and rivers. If you've got some other kind of cards, you want to look at your elemental synergies. So like we were talking, if I was looking at my mountains, then I would look at fire and death, and we could look at these, and you can see 4.4, 4.5. They're all in, as far as these few I've looked at. Let's just look at them all. So let's look at neutrals, because we were just discussing, and of course there's only two neutrals, 4.4, 4.5. So if you wanted to have some cards that, and I'm not investing advice here, but if you wanted to have some good neutral cards, then you might look at Magi of Chaos and Gem Meteor. Of course, the advantage being you can use them on any land, but the disadvantage being is you're not going to get any bonus. So I've chosen to go ahead and go with the bonus. And isn't just occurred to me, isn't Magi Necrosi such a good card? That's one of those cards, if you're newer to the game and you don't necessarily even have to pick up a gold foil, you need a Magi Necrosi at whatever level you're playing in standard foil. It's a great card. Just thought I'd put that out there. Thought occurred to me when I looked at it. Gathering says they're about 4.5 to 6. Yeah, I agree with that, what we just looked at. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in chat. So anything below that would be a good price. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think around $5. I think that, not investment advice, and obviously the market can change, but at this point, all we've done is see the prices of everything go up as far as gold foil Chaos Legion. Let's just look at these, because for a long time I was buying commons, and I would buy max level. So Hardy Stonefish, let's sort by max price per, Okay, so Hardy Stonefish, you can look at, let's just look at the month. And a lot of cards, this is interesting because it went up, then it came back down. But the argument here is that, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, I was buying these for $4 to $5, and they're easily more than doubled. And that argument applies for all of these, because I've got an assortment of all of these that I'm using on land, and they've all pretty much more than doubled over time. But they still make a good choice if you are looking at putting them on land. The main savings behind using epics and slowly building out is the fact that you're saving a lot on DEC, because if you use a max level common, then you're going to across all your slots on the land, you're going to have to come up with 50,000 DEC to stake. Whereas if you just use single epics, they're only 1,000 each. So you're saving a lot of DEC on the front, and you're able to slowly build over time. The offshoot of this is the price of the epics. The price of all the cards are going up. So, but you're still saving on the back end on the DEC that you're staking. Okay. Our Faded Glory Plays says, if you're able to hit that like button, yes, please do. We only got 15 likes with this many viewers. I appreciate it. If you hit like while the live stream is going on, then the more likes, the more YouTube is going to stick it out there for everybody to see. So I appreciate it. Joffrey Jones is in house. Welcome. Always appreciate Joffrey, a primary player of other games other than Splinterlands. Where's the utility with Splinterlands land? I am currently staking out and using, selling grain to earn SPS, to earn DEC, which in a lot of cases I turn around and buy more SPS to stake. Basically making DEC, buying or selling what I'm making on my land currently. So that's what I'm doing. Now, right up front, if you are currently thinking about making SPS, it's better just to buy it up front. But I'm looking at the long term, and gradually the land hasn't been improving. So it does. If you're looking at the investment proposition, I don't know, if you're just looking at right now, it probably doesn't make sense. But if you're looking down the road, as always, to me, I'm looking forward to where the land game is going, and it's been improving over time. So. Okay, let's see here. Too Curious says, just check, there are many gold foil epics under 5. Yeah, it just really depends upon what elemental bonuses, what land you have. So it just, like I just said, it really just depends upon what you need. Like I said, I'm still on the water and earth page, and you can see there's 4.5, 4.4, but several of them are $5 or above. But like I said, you can take and look at the 1 month. Actually, there are certain spikes, obviously, and we're only looking at 1 BCX. If you go ahead and you buy multiple BCX to stick on, maybe you can make a little bit better of a deal. But that also applies if you're a new player. You also want to look at gold foils, because sometimes if you're just starting out, the gold foil, since the gold foil does not start at level 1, then sometimes you can get a better deal on a gold foil than on a common foil, a standard foil. Young Eagle 95's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. I've been wondering if I should essentially deactivate my keep and sell my Chaos Legion gold foil cards on it for more money for Chaos or Conclave Arcana. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. Being a land player, I wouldn't say do it. But it all depends upon your daily play and how. If you're depending, are you playing in Modern? Because if you're playing in Modern and you get a decent amount off that on a weekly basis, then you're going to have to buy Conclave Arcana packs. If that's going to be more than you're making off of your keep, I couldn't say, but I wouldn't do it. Our Faded Glory Plays. It's a tongue twister. I've got to stick to life, water, and earth for my land plots. Kind of like me. Yeah, the life on the plains, because life is your other splinter that you can produce grain with. I have a few there as well. Gathering says you can shut down your keep, move the DEC to SPLTrader or SPLTrader, and build up more DEC. That way you don't sell anything. Yeah, I mean, I've moved, frankly, over the last few months, that's what I've been doing. A lot of the money I put into the game, so to speak, has been buying DEC and put it into SPLTrader. I don't have as much at this point as Gathering the Magic has, but because I've kept my land up and running, and I'm just gradually selling. And whenever I get a decent amount of DEC build up, I'll move it over to SPLTrader. As always, I don't want anybody to think, hey, I should just sell everything and move it to SPLTrader, because, like I said, you've got to be very wary. And my approach to things is keep your investments, or you're leveled out. In other words, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because who knows? One of my approaches is I didn't want to put a video out too early on it and have a rug pull happen, and then a bunch of people say, hey, I lost my, if it goes down, keep it keep an amount in there that you can afford to lose, and not have to cry about, in other words. Young Eagle says, what's SPLTrader? Got about 400K. I can play with a little out of touch. It is the website where you can stake. It's a bot. They run a bot that buys and sells cards on the market, and then splits 60%, 40% of the profit from the card sales goes to the team or the bot, and then 60% is split. Excuse me. is split amongst those who have DEC staked, which it uses to buy and sell cards. And then depending upon your share of the stake, you get, like I get 2.16% of the profits of that 60%, right, on a daily basis. So I've been making, over the last couple of months, I've made about 20,000 DEC, something like 18,000. So just another option. And I don't make any money on this. Haven't been contacted by him. Jabby Saints says, is there any chance that the team will bring back daily rentals? I don't think so, since they just made it. But of course, a lot of people have been complaining about it. I don't know. I haven't been looking into it much. I very rarely use the rental system. I do know that there's been a lot of discussion about it and a lot of people talking about it on various videos and everything. So I don't know. I do know that they just made the change recently, and unless there's a big hubbub and some people put a proposal out, it'll probably stay where it's at. I don't know. Of course, anything could happen. Just listen to the town hall. Our Faded Glory Play says, how do lands with unstable totems work? The unstable totem has not, as far as I know, went into effect yet. It's just like something that will be used in the future when the actual buildings. So currently in land, what we have as far as production facilities are not classified as buildings. They're called something else, and I forget. But in the future, there will actually be buildings during the second level of land where you're actually taking what we produce and turning it into other things, such as the advanced food, such as cards and stuff like that. And when we get to that point, then I think that the unstable totems will take effect. But currently, I don't believe they've done anything with them. Gathering says, did a video on it earlier. It's a site where you can buy, sell. Talking about SPLTrader. Yeah, Gathering just released a video. Whereas I think that, and call me if I'm wrong, but you had remembered talking about it last week on this live stream and said, hey, I need to do a video on it. But yeah, check Gathering's site. He just did a video on it. Gathering says, I've used the staking part for about 2 weeks now. I've used it since the end of January, and everything's going well. Like I said, not an advertisement, but just telling you about an opportunity. You can pull your DEC off anytime, which I liked. It takes 24 hours. Yeah, I like that part where you can pull out your DEC at any time. It does take 24 hours, but it's not like the month-long destaking type thing, Joffrey Jones says, now might be a good time to take some money off the table with Chaos Legion gold foils. It might be. I mean, any good strategy, whether it be with crypto or stock market, I've always heard that it helps to sell a little bit once in a while and get a little bit of return instead of continually just jumping in. At this point, if you could sell some Chaos Legion gold foils, make a little bit of money, I don't know, it just depends. If you're working land, it's probably better served to put on land, but it's all just an investment decision, right? And everybody makes those has a little bit different approach. Young Eagle says, you going for gold foil packs in Chaos Conclave Arcana? I don't know. I keep saying Chaos CLCA. I am not going to buy gold foil packs. That probably sounds like something up Gathering's alley. I will be interested in the standard packs, the low-end packs, and also the legendary packs to a certain extent. So it looks like a match is being played. We'll see what happens here. Gathering says, I want I want every regular $4 pack I can get. The others are too expensive for me. People will flip out when they see what's in them. Oh, I guess Gathering has some behind the scenes information. I do know that several people within they've been making a good marketing push, right? As far as increasing the FOMO and having people very interested in talking up Conclave Arcana. Obviously, we've been building on this. We've been building to this, and we want to try to get as many eyes and as many people interested in this release as possible. I will be buying some packs, like I said, and it will be interesting. I think the primary people who will be interested in Conclave Arcana are those players that are interested in obviously playing in Modern. I've already figured out that I'm not really a Modern player. It would be nice to play in it a little while, but looks like I lost anyway. Looks like I'm only in Diamond 2 currently, but I do a lot of like 50-50, win one, lose one, win two, lose two, that kind of thing. I don't usually get up into Diamond 1, and last season I got into Champ 3 until like the last couple of days of the season. And then I have a lot of energy, actually. I usually, the last week of the season, I will pump it up to 2 times per hour and burn off a lot of that energy. And then recently, last season was the first time I switched on survival mode, and I will go into survival mode on the last day of the season. Let it play through. Hopefully I can kind of rank up a little bit. The last season I played through wood and the lower bronze levels, but it didn't make very much at all. So we'll see what it does this season. I'll start out a level higher this time, but Gathering goes on to say, I still think we have gotten too used to SPS being under a cent. That won't last much longer. I really need to grow my bag now. I have been busy with other Splinterlands things. Need to concentrate on SPS. If you want to ask me straight and directly what I think is the best thing to do in Splinterlands right now is buy SPS, because currently SPS is, like I said, not investment advice, but every SPS that you buy and stake, if you're playing the game, improves what you make out of the game. And I have to agree that I don't think, since we're on the downside of producing SPS, and we're going into a time frame where they're doing a lot of advertisement towards Conclave Arcana, I feel that SPS really has to go up. So I've just been, like I said, buying DEC, staking it on SPLTrader in the event of being able to take some of that out and buy Conclave Arcana packs. And then gradually just raising my bag of SPS, So I'm working towards that magic 150,000 mark. I've been, I just restake everything I earn on a daily basis. It's just been rolling for 3+ years now. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind here, and we're rolling towards the bottom of the half hour, or the bottom of the hour, rather. Thanks, everybody, for dropping by, talking a little bit of Splinterlands. Jabby Saint says, it seems a lot of people stopped playing due to the removal of daily rentals. Yeah, it does seem that way looking at the numbers. I was looking at some other people doing videos who watch the numbers more, and people have slacked off a little bit that were using the daily rentals. But as you know, I'm not one of those guys that examines the numbers. I just like to play it as a game and use it. Try to, at this point in time, frankly, I'm more into the land part of the game. Supreme Victory Studio says, yeah, I actually stopped playing the game because of the rental situation. It takes all the fun out of the game. I don't need the cards the entire season. I don't intend to use them every day. Yeah, it seemed like a weird change to make. I can understand their reasoning, but I voted against it. Yeah, I don't know. There are greater minds at work here that are more into the numbers. and I don't have enough time to sit there on Discord. I don't have a strong enough view on it to sit and argue with people. Besides arguing with people on the internet, it's like hitting your head against the wall, but you don't get much accomplished other than get a headache. I don't understand it. I think the daily rentals are better for the game, but that's just me. Gathering says, that really affected Peace Silence and Dolomite for our streamer challenge. They were renting and had to stop because of the rental change. I focus on buying, so it didn't affect me. Anyone asking their glint, anyone saving their glint for future items in the store? I am not. However, I've mentioned it a few times that they really need to replace the exclusives, whether it's with titles, something else, because these have been sold out for a little while now. And I'm getting to, I don't know, the last 25% of finishing my collection out. So once that happens, I don't know, I probably will end up saving because I'm not spending on the gold foils. Because the only reason I would spend on gold foils is if it was kind of lucrative, if I stood to make a little bit of money off of being able to unlock them and resell them. And at this point, the unlocking of them is just too price prohibitive for me. So I'll probably, after I max out my set, I'll be in savings mode. Unless they release something cool, right? Our Faded Glory Play says, yeah, I'm here more for the land. Jabby Saints gets the last word, says, I don't see any advertisements for Conclave Arcana or for Splinterlands even. Is it just a US thing? Well, you have to look. They've been heavily leveraging X. So if you don't pay attention to X, they've been putting a lot on X and doing a lot. Let me bring up. Yeah, I'm not going to bring my X profile, but check out X. Check out the official Splinterlands and all the people that, you can just jump on there, just subscribe to Splinterlands and then subscribe to a bunch of the big guys. They're spamming all day long. So Too Curious says, what is your strategy to max the set? Which chests do you get in what order? Okay, so this is the last one, then we'll end the show, but thanks for dropping by. Early on, I was concentrating on epics. I'm almost to the end of my epics. I still need some legendaries, and I still need some rares. I'm almost done with commons. On a weekly basis, I also pick up a few ultimate and some major chests. I always pick up a few levels of merits because I'm always working on those cards and not near maxing those out. So whenever I get to max on epics, I'll be happy because I consider that the strongest portion of this set. Not to say the rest of them are bad, but I like the epics. So with that said, I appreciate everybody dropping by. I hope everyone has a good week coming forward. And I'll see you next week on Saturday where we talk Splinterlands during the Saturday morning stand-up at 11:30 Eastern Time. Until that, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in Splinterlands.